And we're live. Hi, everybody. Donnie, can I have a sound effect, please?
Oh, yes, I forgot.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to a very special episode of the D&D show. My name is Derek. I am a developer advocate at AWS. If you haven't met before, I'm sorry. I look after Australia and New Zealand. And welcome to the AWS Innovate Modern Apps live stream. Now, I'm very privileged to be joined by the fabulous Mass Donnie. Mass Donnie, do you want to introduce yourself as well?
Thank you, Chat Derek, for having me here. Hello, everyone. My name is Donnie Prakoso. I'm a principal developer advocate covering for ASEAN and working together with the legend Derek Bingham to help APJ developers.
Legend. I like it, Donnie. You're so
You
kind.
are.
So what you're probably wondering what's going to happen here over the next 30 minutes. Well,
Yep.
anything really. We've got about 400 people viewing us at the minute. I'd love more,
Ooh.
but we're here and we're going to go through our top tips for AWS Innovate. So if you don't know, if you've just joined us and you don't know what AWS Innovate is, I have a little banner which is going. No, not that one. That's the wrong one, Derek. Let's let's try that again. It is live. So if you don't know what AWS Innovate is, you can register for it, and any of the cool talks that you've missed already, you can get access to the video on demand version. So there's a URL. I'll leave that up there for a while to register, and I'll also push it in the chat when Donnie's speaking. So today, Innovate's happening, and Donnie and I have our top three sessions that we would watch when we're watching Innovate. So we're going to share those with you a little bit later. But also, we are live, so we really want some questions from the chat, and we'll also try and answer those as well. So it's going to be a very packed 30 minutes, Donnie.
Yep.
Do you want to give us a little bit more of an in-depth overview of what Innovate is?
Oh, definitely. Innovate. Okay, so Innovate, as we all know about it, is a free online conference from AWS to help builders, to help developers to learn firsthand from AWS experts. So at Innovate, we share use case, tools, frameworks, to best practices to accelerate your development journey and unlock faster innovation to speed up time to market. And probably some of you already joined AWS Innovate before. So we have a couple of like a team, like probably in the early of the year you joined the Innovate machine learning, and in this episode Innovate is focusing on modern application development. So so that's a quick overview about Innovate.
Awesome.
Chat Derek.
Thank you, Mass Donnie. So we've got a few people on the chat. So let us know where you're
Right.
from. I'm in Perth, in Western Australia. Donnie, I believe, is in Singapore, unless you're
Yes.
out traveling somewhere today, Donnie.
No, if you see my kid on my behind, so that means that I'm in Singapore.
Yeah, yes. That we've got who we got so far. We've got somebody from Jersey. Nice. We got
Hello.
somebody from Sydney. Hello.
That's Satya.
Hi, Satya from Sydney. And so let us know in the chat. We'll put it up when we see you from a different location in the globe.
Right.
So let's start.
Uh,
Donnie.
Derek,
Yeah.
before we go to
Uh-huh.
our highlights, I just want to say something about this Innovate, because this time there's something different. Right. So
Mhm.
when I go to the Innovate Modern Application homepage, and if you can go to that page, you will see this edition. We have 9 tracks, not three, not four. We have 9 tracks, and then the reason I had a discussion with the event team a couple of
Mhm.
weeks ago, and the reason why we have multiple tracks, because there's no single journey that fits all developers, right? So the way it's structured is based on the customer journey. Like, if anyone wants to modernize their workloads, they can join the Accelerate Modern Application track. And if you want to start designing your modern architecture along with best practices, you can join the Innovate track, right?
Mhm.
So I mean, this is really cool, because from my perspective, this event is one of the most important online event for developers who want to build with AWS. Because here at this session, we cover use cases and solution from serverless, microservices, containers, CI/CD, DevOps. What else? Anything that I missed, Chaderick?
I think you pretty much covered everything because when I was going through the agenda, serverless, we've got lots of serverless, we've got
Right.
lots of automation, we've got lots
Correct.
of containers, we've got some front end as well. We got front end and mobile
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
as well, which I'm going to talk about.
And
Oh, in my
there's a fun
highlights.
fact that did you know that today's episode from AWS Innovate is the 20th episode of all AWS Innovate events since 7 years ago.
Oh
Like,
wow.
imagine that 7 years of consistency on delivering events with high quality. So, big appreciation to the team who delivered this event. So, I just want to play this sound effect for all of you.
That's
Right,
good
over
work,
to you,
Jim.
Derek.
Okay, so I'll start with my highlights
Sure.
for Innovate, and if you haven't registered, please do. But if you have, these are the ones and the sessions that I would watch. So I'm going to share my screen quickly. Oh, Malaysia, WA, Roti. Hi, Roti. Another WA. Yeah. Oh, so the problem is I get distracted. Come on. Come on, Derek. So here we go. Here. And you. So this is AWS Innovate. Derek's picks. Packets. Can you start keep showing where everybody's from, Donnie? Pakistan.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
We have from India, and then we have from Pakistan as well, and from Vietnam.
Yes, nice. All over
Right.
Asia is fantastic.
This is a fantastic support.
It is fantastic. So this is Derek's picks. So we're going to start with how I'm a big advocate of developer experience with AWS. And the easier it is really to build anything, the better experience you have. So I picked out Matt's track. So Matt's talk. So Matt's going to take us through all the tools that you can use to improve your developer experience in a developer's guide to modern application development. So the tools that he's going to show here, if you haven't used any of them, you should definitely check them out. So he's going to talk about, first of all, Code Guru. So Code Guru gives you insights into how well you're writing your code, which, to me in particular, it's, you have to be open to take feedback, and even from a machine, the feedback's fine. So Code Guru is a nice way of providing that. It gives you security insights into how bad your code is, and also performance insights into how bad your code is. So that's really handy to have, and a tool that you should have in your tool belt. The other one is the AWS Toolkit. So we've been doing a lot of updates to the AWS Toolkit recently, and Matt's going to go through all of those in his talk. So if you don't know AWS Toolkit, it's a plugin for your favorite IDE. It supports quite a few, all of the popular IDEs. So you should be using AWS Toolkit to improve your developer experience. And then he's going to talk about one of my favorite services, was Amplify. Amplify to build quick front ends for your application. He's also talked about the Serverless Application Modeler, or SAM, to build backends and serverless backends. And then finally, I think he's going to touch on the AWS CDK, or AWS Cloud Development Kit. So all of these tools are what you should be thinking about when you're building modern applications on AWS. You should definitely have all of those tools that Matt's going to talk about in your toolbox. So that's why I recommend Matt's talk, because it'll get you across those tools if you haven't used them already. How does that sound, Donnie? Yeah,
That is amazing.
Have I sold it to you?
Yeah, you sold it. And this is really amazing because we as a developers, we use tools to speed up our development. And yeah, I just want to call out about AWS Copilot as well. I mean, that is by far the best tool for you to run, build, and deploy your contrast application on ECS and Fargate and App Runner.
Yep. All these tools. So check out Matt's talk.
Yep.
The next one. Ooh, that name sounds familiar. This is a talk by one Donnie Percasso. Percasso. Percusso.
Yes.
Percusso. I apologize, Master Donnie.
No, that's fine.
So this is all about the event sourcing pattern. So
Right.
I'm going to explain to you what your talk's about. So this is quite meta, Donnie. So if you haven't used or come across the event sourcing pattern, it's something that you should be at least familiar with or aware of as a way of decoupling your applications elements and services. You should be across what the event sourcing pattern is, and also a way of implementing it. So I'm hoping, Donnie, that's exactly what your talk is going to be about.
Yes.
Yes, excellent. So Master is also a very good speaker, I might add. So anything I missed about your talk?
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much, Derek, to put me on your picks. So it's a highlight. I mean, you just made my day. But fun fact,
Surprise.
yeah, I spent a day to find a suitable title for event sourcing and came
Mhm.
up with the keywords think data differently. Because I mean, e- I mean, in the past, or now, up until now, like majority of developers, we build applications and they are using data abstract subjects using CRUD model, like create, read, update, and delete. And I
Mhm.
just like it just crossed my mind. But there's another pattern if you want to have built like the current state of your data based on the event logs or based on the previous transactions. So I think that's the idea. So if anyone wants to join me to like demonstrate on how event sourcing works, especially on AWS, yeah, you can jump into the session.
Boom, boom, excellent. Well worth your time, everybody listening or watching. We're not on radio. This is on video. So the last one is something that I enjoy. So I enjoy building with Flutter. So Flutter is a open source cross-platform environment to build mobile applications, but not only mobile, but also web and desktop. And the developer experience in Flutter is fantastic. So I really love doing it and building with it. So this talk, if you haven't come across Flutter before, it's well worth watching. But also this talk goes into quite a breadth of other services that you can use when you're building a web and mobile app or mobile app. So it talks about AWS Amplify, which is a suite of services and plugins that you can use to add functionality to your app. But we're also talking about the iOS SDK, how to automate, provision, and deploy mobile applications, how to integrate your testing frameworks with those mobile
Wow.
applications. So I think this is a really good talk if you're a mobile developer, which I am, because it will give you the breadth of options and possibilities that you can use on AWS to make your developer experience again better when you're building a mobile application. So that's why I've chosen this talk. One, because Flutter's cool, and two, because it gives you a great broad view of what you can actually achieve using AWS services when building mobile applications. So that's my third pick, Donnie.
Wow, that's amazing.
Innovate.
Okay. I mean, I
It
just
is.
realized that CI/CD for like a mobile application. I'm not a mobile or desktop application developer. I just
Yep.
realized that they have a CI/CD, like a separate CI/CD, like what we do in the backend, and with Amplify that you can just streamline everything.
Yep, and there's complexities when you're building mobile applications around
Yeah.
signing APKs, having the accounts, the developer accounts for Android and for iOS. So all of that stuff, all of those complexities
Right.
need to be satisfied. And so I think this talk is a good one to get you across those. So just to reiterate, we are live. So if any of the talks that we're talking about at the minute, if you have any questions about what we're talking about, then please push them in the chat and we'll try to answer them. I say. So that's my three picks for Innovate. Donnie, have you got three of your own?
I do. I do. I'm typing on the comment.
Excellent. So he's multitasking.
Yeah.
Please,
So
we like interaction and comments. So please ask your stuff.
right. So let me open my PowerPoint first. Right. Okay, I'm going to hop. Right. Ehe. Hold on for a while. Send, and then share screen, and then this one.
And it's coming. There we go.
It's coming.
And
There you are.
boom! We should have another
Yay!
sound effect. Do we have another sound effect
Yes,
for that? Yeah, hold
I
on.
have it. Another sound effect is just like like a notification. It doesn't really fit the situation, but anyway, but there's a sound effects, right? Okay.
Nice.
Okay, so first of all, this is so tough to pick. When I had a discussion with Derek a couple of days ago, I mean, we want to have like a create some of the session, and it was so tough for me. I mean, looking at the agenda, we have amazing sessions, but if I
We
can
do.
pick, I will pick based on my preferences. Right?
Mhm.
So first of all, my first pick will be a container session, simply because together with serverless functions such as AWS Lambda, containers have become the most preferred approach to ship applications. And that means my first pick is build, run, and manage containerized application on AWS Fargate by Angwa. So when AWS Fargate was released around 4 to 5 years ago, it was
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
it was a revolutionary approach to computing, as Fargate is a serverless computing engine, right? And on the other hand, when it comes to containers, the journey doesn't stop when you build your Docker file and build the container image on your local host, right? In fact,
Mhm.
that's just the starting point. And what we need next is to deploy containerized application into our application environments. We need to have container orchestrators, and that's exactly what Angwa is going to talk about. He will share how we can use Amazon ECS, still the easiest service with rich features, in my opinion. And for those
Mhm.
who need to build with Kubernetes, Angwa will also share how to deploy your app with Amazon EKS. So that's my first pick, Derek. What do you
Very,
think?
very, very cool. Yeah, so I have been played around with ECS Fargate,
Hmm?
not EKS Fargate. I find EKS is just don't have the time to invest to learn the Cubes ecosystem. I'm afraid. Yes, time is the thing. Everybody, I'm sure everybody listening has the same problem. But yes, anytime I spin up an ECS cluster,
Yep.
I always specify Fargate because
Yep.
I always use CDK, and it's really easy just to
Super
define the
easy.
type is Fargate. So
Yeah.
excellent. Looking forward to that one.
Right. Oh, I just want to
Oh,
give one shout out from our
yes.
viewers from Susofan25. I have just completed Cloud Practitioner exam. Woo! And
A sound
you
effect.
deserve sound effects. Congratulations.
A start of a very long journey. Well
Yeah,
done.
I,
Yep.
well done. All right, so my second pick will be dang 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 dang.
Oh my goodness, that looks familiar.
Yes. This is familiar, right? Okay, so um, now the reason why I pick your session, Derek, for my second highlight is that once we go to containerized applications and serverless, more than often we will adopt distributed system architecture or like microservices. And there are so many sessions you'll find at Innovate modern application talking about microservices. But one thing that I have learned so far when it comes to microservices is just not building APIs, right? It's all about how you use patterns. Patterns
Yep.
helps us to avoid common mistakes and adopt best practices. So that's why my pick for this area of interest is a session run by our DA legend, Derek Bingham, titled Five Decent Patterns to Build More Resilient Applications. But
Nice.
you're the
Thank you.
presenter. Can you
Thank
please share us some lights on what you're going to talk about in this session?
How about, Donny? I see we've got a little bit of time up our
Oh,
sleeves. How
right.
about I actually show you a
Oh,
part of this talk?
a demo?
I've got time. I've probably
Right.
got 3 or 4 minutes.
That.
Let's
Let's
do
do
it.
that.
I'm going
Let's
to
do
take
that.
over. I'm taking over
Okay.
now. Okay. Okay. So this is one of the patterns I'm going to talk about, which is called the circuit breaker pattern. So as Donnie mentioned, the talk is all about what patterns you can use for distributed computing. So what's a circuit breaker? So in my talk, I'm going to, as well as this pattern, explain all 4 others plus a process that you can use called chaos engineering. But a circuit breaker is this. So if you've got a client application and another service, so think about it as microservice, service to service to service. And what if you are from a client app through a .NET microservice, in this case, to a third-party API, and the third-party API is broken? And as a result, you keep retrying because you build retries, and I'll talk about retries in my talk as well. And you don't want to keep retrying forever. So what you need to implement is a circuit breaker. So what a circuit breaker is something you can implement from the microservice end. That means that you will not hit that third-party joke API for a number of minutes. So once the circuit breaker is implemented, then when the .NET microservice makes a call to the third-party joke API, it's intercepted by the circuit breaker, which returns what we call a fallback. So that you can do in your fallback what you want, almost like a mock of the third-party joke API. So return something. So that means that your client can keep working. And so subsequent requests from the client always hit the microservice, which then hits the circuit breaker. And so your application keeps working. So it's more resilient as a result of implementing this circuit breaker. So that's what the talk is about. And then, of course, because it's one of my talks, I'm going to build it in code as well. So that's what the talk's about. I don't have time to go through how to implement a circuit breaker in this little segment, but if you check out my talk, I'll show you how. So that's what I'm going to do, Donnie, in my talk. So thanks for highlighting. Back to you.
I love that. Okay. I love it. Okay, so that's really cool. Are you sure that you don't have time for do demo? No.
we have exactly 5 minutes left, Donnie.
Okay,
so,
cool. Okay, let's do that.
If you've got some time, I'll bring it up again. But
okay.
The demo itself is about 4 minutes long.
Sure.
Of live coding. Yep.
Okay, cool. I just want to give a shout out. I can agree more with this opinion. Don't forget, observability really helps with understanding resiliency. Yes, you're right. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, at AWS, I mean, we have a couple of services and tools to help implementing observability. Something that initially was in my highlights, but when I saw the next session, which is, oops.
Oh, also, Donnie, talking about Ollie, observability, Ollie, you might hear it called Ollie. At reInvent, isn't somebody doing a talk on observability?
Yeah, I heard it is going to be Derek Bingham. And
Donnie Percosso?
Yes, I think it's both of us.
I think we're doing a talk on observability.
Yeah. We're going to, so everyone, if you're heading to reInvent to Las Vegas in November, come to join us at our talk. We're going to talk about Ollie. We're going to talk about CloudWatch, and then also ADOT, OpenTelemetry, and how that you can implement various use cases for your applications.
Yeah, awesome, and good luck preparing for your cloud practitioner exam, Aditi.
Oh,
yes.
So many claps, right? Oh, Satya, yes. Now just get us revision on the talk. Yeah, so that's a good idea. Thanks, Satya.
Yep.
All right. So my last pick is So my first pick is containers. My second pick is microservices patterns. Now, if I can choose my last session, there will be DevOps or Ops Only or something else. And I mean, for me, just to complete the whole circle, my last pick is all about chaos engineering. So this session is presented by Faraz, titled Build Resilient Applications with Chaos Engineering using AWS FIS or Fault Injection Simulator. And I do think it's a really good fit for developers who want to build more resilient applications. So in the synopsis, he wrote it very well. So let me read it for all of you. With the rise of microservices and distributed cloud architecture, applications have become more complex. Failures have become much harder to predict, leading to costly outages. And that is why chaos engineering, we need chaos engineering as a disciplined approach to identify failures before they become outages. Right. So this is going to be a really amazing session, and in this session is going to cover about AWS Fault Injection Simulator Office, which I do think personally, with the rise of microservices and adoption from the developers in AWS technologies, they will more adopt face more and more to test their applications in coming years.
Yep. It's a very interesting topic called chaos engineering. I do talk about it a little bit in my talk that you highlighted previously, but this is a more in-depth view of it. And there's a lot of levels of how complex you want to go with chaos engineering. Some companies actually run it in production, which if you think about it, is really scary if you thought about that five years ago. But now, with resiliency, with patterns that we're implementing across the industry, we can now run things like this.
Yeah, it was horrible back then, right? Because if something goes wrong, we got 500 internal server error, and then, hey, what's happening? We don't know. But now, with all these technologies, I think we can just predict in advance, and with the integration with Oli, whenever we got 500 internal server error, what's happening? Oh, I know why. And it just so it's really amazing.
Exactly. So there were three fantastic highlights, I'll say. And sorry, actually two fantastic highlights, and then my talk. So thank you, Mas Donnie, for doing that. So we're actually running out of time. We're only supposed to be here for half an hour, unfortunately.
Really?
Next time we should do an hour, shouldn't we?
An hour.
Yeah. So the Innovate sessions are now starting again over on the platform. So if you come from Innovate, you can head back over there and watch the next sessions. If you haven't come from Innovate, here's how you get there. It's on the link on the bottom of the page, down there. So it's been a very brief show. Donnie, have you had fun?
I do have fun. Yeah, I mean, I just want to answer one of the questions from the audience. But do you think we have time for that?
Yeah. Go on. Let's answer question.
All right. So, so a question from Refon999. Hi, could you please tell me how to become a code developer and app creator? And I think that part that I can answer. And the last part, I don't know how and how to get a job with high package in top companies. I mean, my advice would be build your portfolio, right? So when we have at AWS, you can go to workshop.aws to find what kind of things that interest you the most. If you want to build like a mobile application, you can try AWS Amplify, Device Farm. If you want to be a backend developer, you can try to learn how to run application with AWS Fargate or running in Amazon ECS or even Kubernetes. But my point being is that build your portfolio, start your first project, and learn a lot from those kind of activities. Because along the way, you will there were so many lessons learned that you didn't know before you first started. So that's my advice.
Yeah, and I think key is try. So don't sit on your hands and read. If you want to be a developer, it's all about writing code. So give it a try. It is very key. There's also one question about. I'll just push it up while we go over time.
Why don't we just extend it to 60 minutes?
Yeah. So associate AWS architect. I want to get the professional architect. 4 years of experience at AWS. Any courses or labs? Well, we actually have a whole suite of labs called AWS Labs. I'll just you explain it, Donnie, while I find the link.
So we have a couple of labs. I mean, courses and labs. We also have workshops. You can just go to workshop.aws, right?
Link. I've got that. Yep.
And then on that content, we have various kind of hands-on labs that you can just read through the instruction one by one. You can search what kind of workshop that you want to do. And we also host most of the codes in GitHub, AWS samples or AWS labs as well. So you can learn directly from the code. So, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, so I pushed the
Oh, there you go.
URL for workshops into the chat if anybody's interested.
Mhm.
As Donnie says, it's workshops.aws. And it's really easy. Just pick your
Yep.
session that you want to use. Like, do you want to use mobile? Do you want to use containers? Do you want to use serverless? And there's a whole suite of labs, security labs as well,
Yep.
that you can get started with. So yeah, get
Yeah.
started all the way.
Yeah. The key is just like a be open mind, keep on learning, and like try to document as much as you can. So I think that's my advice.
Excellent advice, sir. Excellent advice. So we've come to the end, unfortunately. So thanks everybody for listening. Reach out to us if you have any questions or anything about building on AWS. We're both on Twitter, LinkedIn.
Yes.
You can find us, Derek and Donnie.
Yep.
We're there. So I hope everybody's enjoyed the show. I hope we've given you some great ideas of what you can do over the next part of Innovate and what talks you can have a look at. Other than that, yeah, have a really enjoy your knowledge gathering activities. Donnie, do you want to sign out?
Yeah. So thank you so much, everyone. And don't forget to fill out your feedback form so we understand what kind of topics, services, or technologies that you want us to cover in the upcoming Innovate. Other than that, hopefully that you're going to enjoy the AWS Innovate, and don't stop building. Keep it on
Yes.
building, everyone.
And if you're not started, start now. Start now. And of course, when you're doing session feedback, best session, live session with Derek and Donnie, double Ds.
Yes.
Alrighty. So thanks very much. I'm just going to play the outro video now, and we'll see you next time. Cheerio.
Bye.